Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sean Erskine, and welcome to the Pro Wrestling Chat. This week we are reviewing the 2022 Royal Rumble from WWE. What's up, guys? Yes, this week we are reviewing the WWE Royal Rumble from 2022. I know you've heard me talk about WCW and Impact Wrestling and TNA and all that. This week we are talking WWE and the newest event, the Royal Rumble, which is probably, if I had to pick a favorite pay-per-view from WWE, probably be the Royal Rumble. I always have a good time with it, you know. And it's definitely the second biggest event of the year. It's the pay-per-view that kicks off the road to Wrestlemania and all that. Obviously, Wrestlemania is the biggest event in pro wrestling, period. But that being said, I always have a great time with the Royal Rumble, and yeah, it's no different for this event. I know a lot of people are saying that this one was kind of a sleeper, you know, people found it boring a lot of times. A lot of the reviews I've read and stuff and have seen on YouTube. But honestly, I enjoyed it. I had a good time with it, you know. I haven't been such a huge fan of the WWE product as of late. But I will say when Brock Lesnar made his return recently, I started watching it again, you know. Because there was a time where I was watching Raw and SmackDown every week, you know, because at the time I was interested in it. Now, lately it's gotten stale and, you know, it's repetitive and a lot of the storylines are silly, but Brock Lesnar saved WWE, kind of, you know. he sparked my interest again. Because, yeah, Brock Lesnar is just money. Let's face it. He puts asses in the seats. Why? Because he's such an intense guy. He's so intense. I mean, when he does something, it looks real. It looks like he's really beating the crap out of somebody. Like he really wants to, like he just really enjoys beating the living crap out of people. And he probably does in real life, so it carries over into professional wrestling, without a doubt. There's just something about him, and I kind of like the fact that he goes away for a while and comes back. You know, when he goes away, that gives a chance for other people to step it up. Like, you know, obviously Roman Reigns stepped it up recently, and he's been the Universal Champion for like almost 2 years. It's something like that. You know, it's like insane. And Roman Reigns has really developed a great heel character, you know. And other than that, there's really not a lot going on in SmackDown lately, except for Roman Reigns. So having Brock Lesnar be on Raw and then be on SmackDown, I think has really helped revitalize things. And let's get into it. Let's talk about the matches. So we started off with Roman Reigns versus Seth Rollins, of course, formerly of The Shield. You know, they were brothers in The Shield back in the day with Dean Ambrose, as he was called back then. Now he's Jon Moxley in AEW, as you know. But yeah, Seth even mentioned Mox. Me and Mox, you know, back when we were a team, you know. But yeah, he's Jon Moxley now in AEW, and he's very successful there. But yeah, I thought this was a great way to start off the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. I thought this was a really good match, you know. Had some great spots, had some great drama in there, you know, given their history together. And you know, Seth Rollins, I'll be honest, lately I have not cared for his character. I think he's so over the top and ridiculous. Like, I don't know what's going on with him, you know? Like, he's just got this weird, like, kind of crazy, I don't know if he's trying to channel the Joker now. We saw him with the purple suit and the green tie and stuff. But he's got that kind of vibe going, you know? But, you know, we've seen that kind of thing before with Stinger did the Joker thing, you know. But I don't know, I haven't really cared for it, you know. I know it kind of all started with the Messiah thing he had going on Raw, and then he went SmackDown with it, and it kind of has developed into this weird new character he's got going on. But I don't care for it. But that being said, Seth Rollins, I think, is probably definitely in the top 5 wrestlers in pro wrestling, in my opinion. I think he's a fantastic wrestler. Really, really talented, you know. And when he wants to, he can bring the drama, and, you know, sometimes he is solid on the mic, but, you know, I just don't care for his character lately. But he's absolutely talented, you know. And I love the fact that he came out in the crowd with the old Shield uniform to, you know, further get inside the head of Roman Reigns. That was great. But a solid match, and Seth Rollins just tore it up, and Roman Reigns did great, you know. And I was a guy that was a doubter of Roman Reigns, you know. I was one of those people that he was kind of a polarizing figure, you know, back in the day, you know, like John Cena was. Fans, like, either loved him or hated him, you know. But now everybody has to admit he's doing great work on the mic, great work as a character, and great heel work. And yeah, this is a fantastic match, a great way to start the pay-per-view. I give it 4 stars. Next up, we had the Women's Royal Rumble match, and this was my favorite part of the night. I thought this was great. I loved the Women's Royal Rumble match. So yeah, that would be my match of the night, is the Women's Royal Rumble. We saw Melina return, even though she lasted about 5 seconds with Sasha Banks, but she still had to had that classic intro, you know, where she does the split in the ringside apron there. Classic, and she looked great, and she even cried a little bit, I noticed, because of, like, the reaction from the crowd. She got a huge pop, you know. So it was kind of sad. I felt bad for her that she got, you know, tossed right away, you know. It's like, wow, you can give Melina a little bit of something to do. She didn't even get to work with any of the other girls in the match. She just worked with Sasha Banks and got tossed, and that's it. It's like, would have liked to see her mix it up a little bit with some of the other girls, but at any rate. And of course, we got to see Mickie James in her Impact Wrestling Knockouts Championship belt around her waist, and the hardcore country theme song from Impact Wrestling. That was really, really cool. So yeah, I was like, yeah, you know. It was so cool to see Impact Wrestling represented on WWE television. That was great, you know. But there's a little bit of a downside to that. There's a little bit of disappointment for me because of the fact that WWE does not seem to want to go all the way with that Forbidden Door thing with Impact Wrestling, which is kind of sad. This kind of feels like that was it. Like that was a one-time thing and it's never going to happen again, you know. I felt like they were just, WWE was just trying to make up for the way they treated Mickie James when she got released and sent her belongings in a trash bag, you know. They were just kind of making it up to Mickie, but I have to give them credit where credit is due. They gave Impact Wrestling some respect there, and they gave Mickie James some respect there, and she had a great moment there. We did get to see Mickie mix it up with, like, Liv Morgan and Lita, of course, and Rhea Ripley and people like that. And so that was really cool seeing it. And she got to dump Michelle McCool out of the ring, you know, and they had a big pass together. So that was great. I thought she did a great job. Mickie James, I tip my hat to you. You did us proud over at Impact Wrestling. Absolutely represented Impact Wrestling beautifully. We love you. You're an icon of women's wrestling. And that was a historic moment. Regardless of whether they do anything with it in the future, I don't think they will, but you never know. You know, you never know. Maybe Mickie will still show up again, you know, and challenge Charlotte or something. But for me, if I was the booker, I would have had Mickie James win and go on to WrestleMania and challenge Charlotte Flair. Title for title. Knockouts Championship versus the Women's SmackDown Championship. How great would that be, you know? And just imagine if, like, Charlotte beat Mickie for the Knockouts Championship and went to Impact Wrestling to defend the Knockouts Championship against, like, Deonna Purrazzo, and they could have a match with all the titles, you know? The Ring of Honor Championship, the Reino del Reinas, the Knockouts Championship, the SmackDown Championship. Imagine that? It's just insane, the possibilities. But I digress. It's never going to happen, but that's kind of my dream. But yeah, I thought it was a really fun match. You know, we got to see all today's top women. You got to see some of the legends like Kelly, you know, Summer Rae, and, you know, Michelle McCool, and obviously Mickie James and Lita. And they all did great. I thought Ivory coming in as the Right to Censor was a lot of fun. You know, that was so funny. I could see her, like, making a little comeback as Right to Censor, because that's so relevant to today's, like, atmosphere, the way the world is today, you know. I think it'd be hilarious, you know. You don't even have to have her wrestle maybe once in a while, but I think just her presence would be a lot of fun, you know. Just poking fun at the way things are today. But yeah, stellar match, and of course, Ronda Rousey came back, you know. And of course she's gonna win it. She came in and she was like number 29 or something, so perfect spot for her, and she just destroyed everybody and won, and just like that, she's at WrestleMania main eventing for the Women's Championship. It's like, really? Oh, man. The jury is out for me on Ronda Rousey. I definitely like her intensity, and she does have great character. And, you know, she has got a great past in UFC. She's got great intensity, and, you know, I still feel like when it comes to professional wrestling skills, she's green. I'll be honest. Now, when she does the arm drags and the stuff like that, it looks great, but anything else, it's kind of like she's a little bit off. I don't know what it is. I didn't see her do anything impressive in this match, but she won it, and she's on to WrestleMania, you know. They know Ronda Rousey brings in the people and puts the asses in the seats, you know. She's a big draw, she's a big name, and it's just the reality of it, and, you know, Vince McMahon sees those dollar signs, so he's going to put her in there, you know. He's going to do all he can with her. But yeah, so she has returned, and she won the Royal Rumble match. Next we had definitely not a very interesting match to me, and that was Edge and Beth Phoenix versus Maurice and Miz. You know, it is what it is. It's a comedy match, basically, you know. But I guess it was kind of fun. It is what it is, you know. Maurice had a couple nice moves there, I must say. I would like to see her make an actual return in the wrestling ring, you know. But I don't know if that's going to happen. We'll see. Maybe he might have a couple more tag matches with The Miz, or, you know. But yeah, this was just what you think it would be. Just a straight comedy nonsense match, you know. Beth Phoenix, I must say, looked pretty damn good, you know. She looks like she could be ready to make a comeback, you know. she was looking jacked there, you know. And Edge is doing great work still, you know. He's in fantastic shape, you know. So I'm sure those two are probably going to still be going, you know. Next up we had the WWE Championship match, and this was the one that I was really, really looking forward to, and I was afraid that it would get overshadowed by the feud with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns, and this was Bobby Lashley versus Brock Lesnar. To me, that's a dream match. You got these two people that have had very similar paths, you know. They were both all-star wrestlers on the wrestling team, in school, and won all kinds of awards and stuff in amateur wrestling. And then they went to pro wrestling, and they did great there, and then they kind of left pro wrestling and went to MMA, both of them, And then they both came back huge and won the championship, and, very, very similar paths, and they're both these hulking beasts, these monsters, and I just wanted to see them kill each other, And the match was a little bit disappointing because I felt it was overshadowed by the feud with Brock and Roman Reigns, and that's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate because this could have been an epic, classic matchup, because they're so evenly matched, And there was a couple good spots there, but it was kind of disappointing at the end of the day, but the stuff that went on with Roman interfering, and it was pretty cool in that sense. It sets up the Wrestlemania match with Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. And Bobby Lashley got the win, even though it was a cheap win. Roman Reigns interfered and hit Brock Lesnar and he helped Bobby Lashley win the championship, but you know what's going to happen on Raw. Lashley's going to come out talking all the smack and how he beat Brock Lesnar. He didn't really beat Brock Lesnar, but he's going to be talking the smack, and now he's got the championship again. So that I'm happy about because I love Bobby Lashley as WWE champion. He was awesome. He was a very dominant champion, and he was believable to me. Guy's a monster. Look at him. And he's a great professional wrestler. He can wrestle, He's a great athlete, and he's a monster. I mean, the guy's 100% muscle. There's not a muscle that exists in the human body that Bobby Lashley does not have worked to the bone. Look at his back, God. The physique is just ridiculous. So yeah, it was slightly disappointing because, it did not live up to the hype because of the whole ongoing feud with Roman and Brock. But anyway, it was decent. It was fun to watch. It was entertaining. Then we had the men's Royal Rumble match. And this, I think, was probably one of the weakest Royal Rumble matches for the men that I've seen in quite some time. I don't know what it was. They just didn't have the star power, really. Maybe that's why we didn't get those big surprise returns like you had Ronda Rousey earlier in the night in the women's match. But we didn't have any big surprise until the very end, But it was decent enough, because a lot of the stars today in the men's division aren't really that great. You got Happy Corbin, you got people like Rick Boogs, and you got this whole thing with Johnny Knoxville and Sami Zayn, which was really stupid. Yeah, you had a lot of nonsense like that going on. You had, I believe, Biggie, and one spot that really got botched, I noticed, was Kofi Kingston. Now, Kofi Kingston is known for having these wild spots where, he goes out of the ring but does everything he possibly can physically to avoid his feet touching the ground. He does a lot of cool, physical things. But you can tell he was trying to do that, but he messed it up. His feet touched the ground, and the ref actually saw it. They had no choice but to, eliminate him. So that was a shame because that happened 2 seconds into when he entered the match. He got thrown right over the top and into the barricade immediately. And so he was eliminated right away. Kofi Kingston. He didn't get to have any of his big highlight reel moments, so we didn't get that. So yeah, there was really not much memorable except Brock Lesnar entering the Royal Rumble match. Brock Lesnar was the big surprise entrant at the end. He came in at number 30, I believe. So yeah, even though he just lost the championship to Bobby Lashley in the match before, there he is, right back on the top, right back in the main event scene immediately, because he comes in, cleans house, destroys everybody, and there you have it, Brock Lesnar. Just like that, he's in Wrestlemania in the main event against Roman Reigns. Yes, for the Universal Championship. So, yeah, I have to say that did actually throw me off guard, given the fact that, he just lost the championship to Bobby Lashley. I thought that would be it for now, and later on they would renew the rivalry with Brock and Roman, when WrestleMania comes around. I didn't think it would be that soon, that night, I thought it was going to be like maybe in a couple weeks they might revisit that, but bam, just like that, he's in the main event of WrestleMania. But yeah, once again, Brock Lesnar is what's revived my interest in WWE. I love Brock Lesnar. I think he's awesome. So like I said, he's the draw, and he's the draw for good reason, because he's awesome. He's intense. No one can match the intensity of Brock Lesnar. He just makes everything look real, looks like it hurts. And I'll tell you what else he's great at: selling being hurt. When he gets hurt, it looks real. You're like, he's like, he cowers and like, oh, like he's really good at that, selling the injury. And yeah, everything he does in that ring to me looks real, like, and you feel how strong he is, how powerful he is, and how much of a monster he really is. The man is just a beast in real life, in wrestling, in UFC. No matter what he does, he is the beast incarnate. So there you have it, guys. That was the Royal Rumble. Overall, I enjoyed it, I thought it was a good show. It was solid overall. There was some things here and there that I didn't like, but overall, I had a good time with it. I had fun, and I always do when I watch the Royal Rumble. So this year was no exception. Another great show, and I look forward to WrestleMania. What do you guys think? Did you enjoy the 2022 Rumble? Give me your thoughts in the comments below. Like and subscribe. And thank you for joining me, Sean Patrick Urshan, in the Pro Wrestling Chat. Till next time, folks. Peace out.